My name is Lon Welsh at Your Castle Real Estate, and I want to talk a little bit about the Denver real estate trends. An earlier video talks about the trends for the entire market for all price segments. This video, I want to focus just at $900,000 and above. So this is the most expensive 10% of the market, the luxury market, and it behaves a little bit differently than everybody else does. So if you take a look on the left-hand side, this is the number of showings per active listing, and there's a dashed purple line on the top, and that's the performance for last year by week, and that's from the first week of March to the last week of May. And then the solid blue line, which is underneath that, is the performance for those matching weeks for this year. So you can see that the showings for this entire time period have been lagging what we've seen for last year's performance. And this is relatively unique. If you take a look at the middle market part of the slide, which is on a different video, you'll find that the showing traffic has been a lot stronger than it has been in luxury. This is probably not a large surprise. It's not required that people buy a luxury home, and a lot of times the performance of the stock market tends to influence the consumer confidence of people who tend to buy these sort of homes. And with the negative impact of the stock market lately, that's probably had a dampening effect for consumer enthusiasm, which you see reflected here in the showing traffic. On the right-hand side is a number of newly added listings. So a little bit of volatility between the 2 years, but in composite, the number of new listings in the luxury segment this year is roughly the same as what we saw last year. There's plenty of inventory out there to take a look at. So you can see in the last 2 weeks that the number of under contracts in the luxury segment has gone up quite a bit, more than doubling, and that will presage our closing traffic in about 3 to 5 weeks. So let's look at closings. That's on the the right-hand side of our chart here. You can see that the number of closings in March and the very first part of April, very similar between the 2 years. And then when the headlines got more negative and the stock market had a big decline, the number of closings actually dropped quite a bit. And this again is unique for the luxury market. We didn't see nearly this much of a decline in some of the more affordable price bands. No recovery here yet in the number of closings. That will follow about 3 to 5 weeks behind the lift in the number of under contracts. So we'd expect sometime probably about 4 weeks from now, you'll start to see a lift. So what to do with the information? If you're a buyer who's trading up, if you're selling in the middle market, you're going to find there's an eager audience to buy your house if it's priced accurately relative to its condition. Shouldn't be any problem disposing of the asset. You're going to find that there's plenty to choose from in the luxury segment, and you'll have a little bit more of a negotiation advantage than you would have had this time last year. So maybe you get slightly better price, slightly better terms than you would have over the last couple of years. And you also have the advantage of the interest rates very much being in your favor. If you think of selling in this price segment, you'll need to be a little more flexible, as we won't have quite as much market control as the sellers you've had historically, although it should still be possible to sell your home for a good price, just not quite as much in the seller's court from negotiation as it has been.